Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the TheEezeExperience. Today I have the opportunity to sit down and talk to an intentional lyricist, a student of the game, a supporter of the culture as a whole. Mr. Chicago never forgot how to rap. I am God. What's the deal, fam?
What down with it, fam? Well, I appreciate you having me. I'm happy to be here, bro.
Likewise. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Now, I am God. Just meaning behind that is an acronym, right? Could you please let the people out there know exactly what your name means?
Yes, sir. So I am God is definitely an acronym. You know what I'm saying? When you break it all down, you come away with I am getting ahead without devolving. And basically what that means is that, success looks different for everybody, right? You know what I'm saying? So for my version of success, whatever that may be, you know, I'm not um I'm not going backwards. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to allow myself to do or be put in any type of situation that I'm gonna look back on and not be able to look at the man I see in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? So I have to be comfortable, and it's not just about being comfortable because it's good to step outside that comfort zone as well. But I'm an intentional individual. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be something respectful, something meaningful, something that I could stand on and hang my hat on and move forward and build off of.
Yeah, that's fire right there, man. So obviously that name, something positive is attached to it. So tell me about your journey as a hip hop artist. Like, when did you fall in love with hip hop, or when did it grab you?
So man, like my first encounter with hip hop that I could remember, like just like taking grab of me and making me pay attention, you know what I'm saying, was Brenda's Got a Baby, the video for it, you know what I'm saying, Tupac. And that's Apocalypse Now. I believe that's what, 91 or 92.
Around that time, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I could remember, like, I'm 5 years old, you know what I'm saying? So, that would have been 91 for me. So I'm 5 years old and I'm just looking at this video and it showed the scene to where Shorty is putting what's supposed to be the baby in the garbage can, the dumpster, or what have you. And as a 5 year old, I'm just looking at this like I don't understand it, but I see what's happening right in front of me. You know what I'm saying? So it shook me, but at the same time, I couldn't look away. One of them things where it's like you scared. It's like it got a hold on you, but you trapped, you stuck, you right there with it. You can't look away. So it was one of them things, and I was just enamored by that whole story and Pac's capability to like tell it so clearly. And I understand the visual helped me help the 5 year old put things together as well. But Pac's words were so clear. Like Pac didn't really try to do too much as far as like uh with wordplay trying to go over your head. Like Pac was very clear, concise, and to the point. You know what I'm saying? And that allowed me as a 5 year old to be able to follow along with that story. And like I said, the video helped as well. So from there, I still wasn't like dedicated to the craft. You know what I'm saying? Like uh believe it or not, I was like super big on MC Hammer at the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was dancing as a shorty.
We
You know what
all
I'm
were. We
saying?
all were. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So like I was dancing and shit. Like my mama, she I can remember for Christmas she brought me like the little 12-inch figurine MC Hammer. He had on like a gold glittery suit, the removable glasses, a boom box,
Mhm.
and it came with a cassette tape. I think it was Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him. Or it might have been just a single, Can't Touch This. I'm not sure. But it was hilarious. I even had he had a cartoon, you know what I'm saying,
Yes,
on
sir.
VHS with the shoes lefty and righty. You know what I'm saying? I even had that. So I was super big on Hammer. Um and around that time I was dancing. Like it's funny because Twista, back when he was known as Tongue Twister, actually performed at my at the field house in my neighborhood. For those who ain't aware, I'm from Chicago, Illinois, Southwest side, Leclerc Courts. Shout out the land. You know what I'm saying? They took the buildings, but they can't take the memories. You know what I'm saying? So he actually performed at a talent show at my field house back when he was Mr. Tongue Twister. And he had the big the hat, like the hats Queen Latifah used to wear. He had the nose ring. And he had the logo. I think it was like a tongue tied in a knot or something like that. And but yeah, man. So it took me a while from there to even get into like trying to write and even appreciate the music. I want to say I didn't really start appreciating rap until like 95, 96, because Biggie and Pac both were still alive when I first started like paying attention and like getting into the mix. So even though I knew who Pac was, going back to Brenda's Got a Baby, and I even remember seeing a video for All Around the World with Digital Underground. But I didn't get on to Pac until right before he died. Like I got on Pac probably around All Eyes on Me. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
from All Eyes on Me to Machiavelli, he was such a polarizing, charismatic figure. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I was a huge Biggie fan. Was hurt when he passed in '97. I probably like Nas is my GOAT. I probably got on to Nas around like 98, 99, whenever I Am came out. Because although I knew about If I Ruled the World, it was written in Illmatic, One Love, and all that. I mean, I heard it before. I still didn't know about it. I heard it before. But I Am is what put me on to Nas. And I used to like take that CD everywhere, bro. Like I used to listen to that shit religiously. And then I went back, and from there, that put me on to artists like The Woo. But it all started with my hometown: Twista, Do or Die, um, a Crucial Conflict, Psychodrama, Common, later on Lupe, you know what I'm saying? Shauna, Infamous Syndicate, The Brat, you know what I'm saying? All of them, Snipers, Triple Darkness. So, Chicago is very rich in what we do. The legendary tracks, the No ID. We very rich with what we do and what we provided the game as well. So I want to say I'll probably start diving into the art of emceeing like around like I want to say probably around like 96, 97. But I didn't get good probably until around like somewhere in between 98 and 2000. You know what I'm saying? Because I can remember going to my cousin crib. Shout out my cousin Joe Carter, the Fluid. He was in a rap group with him and his guys, the Faction. And I used to go out to Indiana and spend summers with him. You know what I'm saying? When school was out. And he was a super hip hop head. I mean, a big ass CD binders that you leave in a car. He had about 5 of them joints, like 2, 3 in a car, 2 at the crib. So while he going to work, I'm left in his crib. I used to be going through all this shit. And that allowed me to like get put on to artists like Big Pun, The Roots, Dice Raw, Talib Kweli, Most Def, because they was big on like the neo soul, you know what I'm saying? They kind of like the raucous type crowd, you know what I'm saying? But they still listen to like some commercial shit too. And I can remember just hearing Pun and Dead in the Middle of Little Italy, little did we know that we riddled to middleman who didn't do Italy. And I'm like, oh shit, what? Like you
Yeah.
could do that, bro? You could rap like this?
Mm.
Now, it's a similarity between that and Twista. Like I said, I thought I was baby Twista for a certain point. And when you break Twista, that's why I get Twista the king of that double time, triple time, whatever you want to call it. Because when you break Twista bars down, like he actually saying some shit. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Bars on type of bars, infinite bars. So hearing Pun, it was different. It was similar, but Pun was just like a supreme lyricist. Twisted too, but just like in a different way. Pun is cut from that G rap cloth. I feel like
Hmm.
Pun is like G rap on steroids. You know what I'm saying? Stylistically. So
Yeah.
once I heard that, I'm like, oh, sky's the limit for this rap stuff. Like you don't have to just do it like this or just do it like that. It's infinite styles out here that you can utilize. And I probably rap like all my favorite rappers until I was like old enough and mature enough to put it all together and present it as who I am. But yeah, man, like that
That's
was
fine.
pretty much the journey in a nutshell. I didn't really get on social media or the internet with my music till like 2010. And through my own shortcomings and just the way music was going about like those late 2010s, I kind of was just over shit. You know what I'm saying? Disgusted with
Yeah.
myself, my lack of progression. And I quit at like 2016. And that's when I came back at like the end of 2019 and I was TheEezeExperience and I was trying to trademark the name. But I found it was another TheEezeExperience, TDAGOD. I was TTHEGAWD. So the trademark attorney was like, I would, you know what I'm saying, leave that name alone just avoid any legal discrepancies in the future. So I'm like, man, like I just came back and I got to change the name. Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was already using the hashtag IAMGAWd. So I just sat on that for a minute. And I'm like, it's powerful, it's controversial, it's a conversation starter, but more than all that, it actually means something to me. So I'm like, you know what, we rocking with that. You know what I'm saying? And here we are today.
So based on what you're speaking of, right? I can tell that you're an avid listener of music, right? Like being from the
Absolutely.
Midwest, you listen to all different genres, right? What role did that play in your songwriting? Because I can listen to your albums and see that it's not just a regional sound. You're
Right.
touching on an array of different sounds. So, what role did being a fan of many different artists play in your artistry today?
Mentally, it just opened me up to be able to incorporate more, you know what I'm saying, within the confines of a rap song. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a joint on Bloodstained Suede II for the ladies, and it's kind of like I'm actually like taking I believe that's Mtume. I think that's they joint. You know what I'm saying? That Crypto used for that sample. Shout out to Crypto, you know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
But just trying to
That's the if you
mimic.
down joint, right? If you down?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
now
Yeah, yeah.
mimicking they cadence, you know what I'm saying, and using the foundation they laid for the hook structure to incorporate into mine, you know what I'm saying, harmonizing on a whole nother level with Vic Spencer, or you know what I'm saying, the kind of sing songy cadence on Hustlers and Survivors featuring my homegirl Micah Estelle, shout out to her. So it's just kind of like being a fan of those different genres just kind of like opened me up to being able to identify with, utilize, and call upon different things. Because you know, my OG, she wasn't a big fan of rap, but she listened to it. But her thing was Anita Baker, Whitney Houston, Patti LaBelle, Luther Vandross, Freddie Jackson, Shaka Khan, Stevie Wonder. The list goes on. You know what I'm saying? So all those influences are there. And no, I'm not like actually out here trying to sing, but it's just like I feel that still. I grew up with that. You know, I got my own playlist and it's full of a bunch of joints she used to play for me as a shorty. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely helps. You know what I'm saying? It broadens the perspective and allows me to do more.
Yeah. So that leads us to your new album, 2024's Bloodstained Suede II, the follow up to last year's Bloodstained Suede. Dude
Yes.
got two fire albums back to back years. What title? Well, what does that signify to you? Like the album title? What does it mean? Bloodstained
So
Suede.
so Bloodstained Suede, you know, when I first got in tune with Crypto and we started working again, shout out to Oceanside, California's own Crypto, you know what I'm saying, immaculate producer, you know what I'm saying? I respect him heavily. Actually the first producer who I went back to back as far as like creating something with back to back. All my joints is one MC, one producer, but Crypto was the first, you know what I'm saying, that where we went back to back and we just ran it back. So that definitely speaks volumes about how I feel about his work, you know. But Crypto sound for the most part is like real lush, lavish. The loops that he uses is kind of like a very elegant, you know what I'm saying. He
Sir.
can give you some grimy shit too, you know what I'm saying. He can't switch it up. I'm not trying to put him in just one box, but you know what I'm saying, initially like the joints he was giving me was like super lush, super lavish. And so Crypto represents that suede, you know what I'm saying. Suede is like a smooth, you know what I'm saying, elegant material, and I'm like that rugged, that blood stain, you know what I'm saying? So I'm coming to dirty up, you know what I'm saying, the sway, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
fine.
Because I was trying to think like, damn, what's symbolic of like something smooth but yet still grimy and aggressive at the same time. I'm like, you know what? Blood stain sway, and it just clicked. And I'm like, yeah, that should sound raw. That's gonna be the thing.
So you and Klepto, right? What is your work relationship or the process of creating albums? Because like even when you do a sequel, when do you know it's time to go get back in the studio and follow up with the next one?
Man, I knew me and Crypto was gonna do a part two before part one was even out, because like he was sending me so much and everything was connecting. It's like playing darts and he hitting the mark every time. You know what I'm saying? He's on that board. He ain't too far outside the most valuable part on that board. So it's like, man, like we had it initially probably like 16 to 18 joints, but you know, I never want to overwhelm the listener. I understand what time it is these days. I understand we have shorter attention spans. You know what I'm saying? And my demographic, kind of like the everyday working man and woman, probably got kids, you know what I'm saying, a whole 9 to 5. So it's like, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I want to be able to give you something to insert at that part of your day to it's time to wind down, whether it's the commute home, the commute to work, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You might have that those couple hours before you lay it down for the night, whatever.
Mm.
So I want to say I knew it was gonna be a part two probably right before we put out Bloodstained Suede 1. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like it was too much. And some of the sounds was different too. Some of the joints for Bloodstained that made Bloodstained Suede 2 didn't fit sonically with Bloodstained Suede 1. And it's still joints left over from both those that we gonna utilize for, you know what I'm saying, an EP coming soon as well.
Wow. All right. So when you're working on music together, are the beats sent to you, or do you like sometimes find a sample, be like, "Yo, fam, I want you to chop this up, flip it for me," or is it sent in batches? You write to it, and you guys get because he's from Cali, right? You stated right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get like, 'cause I like to know the why behind things. Like, how do
Right.
you put it together? Like, if he's over here, you're there. Do you get in the studio together? Are you FaceTiming? How's the
Right.
process?
So Crypto, he just sent me joints. I don't think he was sending them. He might have been sending them in small batches. I don't think I ever got like too large of a folder from Crypto, but he was sending them so often because a lot of the joints he was creating for me, tailoring for me. You know what I'm saying? It was a couple that he may have had laying around that he threw my way, But I believe for the majority, you know what I'm saying, the majority of the joints, like he was crafting them for me specifically. So my process is just like, it's super simple, bro. I think I sound more technical and make it look more technical than what it really is when it's being processed in my mind before it manifests onto the song. Like, I basically just do whatever the beat tell me to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really nothing to where I don't even like thinking about the direction of a song or a bar or a verse for too long and too hard. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like, I just want it to guide me and I want it to be organic and natural. Now, I do plot things out, like when I do my storytelling joints or whatever, like you kind of got to script it out. But even then, sometimes I kind of just like let the thoughts go free flow mode and the story ends up where it end up. But I normally just do whatever it is that I do. I'll create a voice record and send it to Clypto, and he just be messing with that thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be looking for that collaboration sometime, but it's kind of like he be with it. Like, bro, I can't believe this shit, bro. And like everything you saying, like it hit the mark. I'm like, hey, bro, I mean, 20 plus years doing this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would hope so. You know what I'm saying? So I just do what the beat tell me to do, man. I let the beat guide me and dictate what a song going.
What role does
Okay.
being from Chicago play as far as the crafting of albums? Because as far as Chicago goes, when it comes to putting
Mhm.
together classic albums, production wise from top to bottom, one of my favorite cities. So what role does that play for you? Because obviously you got Ye, you got Common, you got an array of different people.
Absolutely.
How does that work out for you?
I'm very big on sequencing and making sense of the track list and the sequencing. Sonically, how does this song start? How does that song end and transition into the next? Can we fade it out? Should it just be cut on the last note or the last bar, whatever, and just go into the next joint? How much breathing room do we need between this joint and that joint to make it sound good? Do we need a sample, an audio clip? Should it transition into a different beat and then go into the next beat? It's a myriad of things that you can do to give, because this is a sensory experience for the listener. You know what I'm saying? Like, hearing is a very important sense to us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, my thing is to not give you something just for you to hear. Like, I want you to listen. It's a big difference between hearing and listen. If we have good hearing, you know what I'm saying, and our hearing is in order, we born hearing. You born taking in these noises and these sounds, but are you listening? That's the intentionality of hearing. Are you purposefully giving me your attention, and are you engaged, and are you listening and taking in what I'm giving you? And for those that do, I appreciate that, because I understand it's such a microwave ass time in his music. So I appreciate that. So I'm always trying to give you something that's going to be pleasurable to that sense of hearing. That's what you're here for.
Yeah.
And if I can make you also see while you listening, then I did something. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. Then I did something, because it's all connected. You know what I'm saying? So if that sensory of us experience of listening taps into the mental, and then you can close your eyes and you can paint a picture for yourself, you know what I'm saying? That's even better. So, you know, it's always just trying to give the listener the best possible experience that I could provide at the moment with the music that I'm giving. Because it's my art, but once I put it out to the masses, it's y'all's. Y'all free to pick it apart, take it how you want it, dissect it, break it down, put it back together. It's y'all's now. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to put my best foot forward at all time, and then it is what it is after that.
Yeah. So we mentioned the word intentional quite a few times in this first 20 minutes, right? And on
Facts.
the song "Hustling Survivors," I believe that's with the young lady on it, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Michael Steele.
yeah. She I pay attention to things and like replay value. It's the little things, right? When she's
Mhm.
doubling your vocal, I think she's saying, when you see the next enjoying success, just salute them. The inflections on her voice, like, is
Mhm.
that something that was intentional or it just came about organically?
Absolutely. Because she had even asked me, she like, so what, you want me to sing it? Because I don't know if she necessarily saw the vision at first. She like, what, you want me to sing it or just talk it? I'm like, nah, like I come in with the kind of gravelly, raspy undertone. I want you to bring life to it. You know what I'm saying? I want that dynamic. You know what I'm saying? I want that high and that low, because I'm big on harmony. Like, I love harmony. You know what I'm saying? So my thing was like, I want you to kind of like be animated, not animated, but kind of like a happier, brighter tone on
Mhm.
top of my low baritone. You know what I'm saying? And she did it, like she killed it. You know what I'm saying?
That was,
Because
yeah,
I feel like that was definitely intentional. It's just like the contrast, you know what I'm saying? Because that, if you listen to the words, I feel like you will understand the contrast of those vocal inflections, you know what I'm saying, on that particular bridge, on that particular part of the song.
That's songwriting right there, man. I think that's the song when you're speaking about an array of different things, like even schooling and
Yeah,
hypertension. And
absolutely.
when you're writing
Absolutely.
your songs, like, do you come back to it? Like, I'll do one verse here and then let it breathe for a day, then I come back with it. You write them straight through because your songs flow seamlessly, as if you sat
Mm,
down and just wrote them that day and you moved on to the next. Like, you got everything out and then you moved on to
right.
the next song. So how does that work?
Specifically for Hustlers and Survivors, I can't remember. I would like to say that I sat down and wrote that all in one setting, and I think I did. But honestly, it all depends on the mood and the energy. You know what I'm saying? I normally write by myself. I go to the studio with everything already pre-planned how I want to do it, because that's money. So time is money. I don't really like to waste too much time.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But so I write at the crib alone, just music blasting with my own thoughts, with my own company, my own energy, and I just go from there. But it definitely varies. I've wrote songs, like for instance, the title track, Bloodstained Suede II.
Mhm.
That verse, I had that verse to that beat early probably in the middle stages of the writing process for Bloodstained Suede One, and I just knew it didn't fit, so I never wrote a verse two to it. But when it came time to actually put together Bloodstained Suede 2, I came back to that song, added that second verse, and the hook was the very last thing added. So I had one verse for like months. Then I came back, wrote another verse, had two verses for like another couple months, and then just like added that hook lastly. You know what I'm saying? So it could be a situation like that, or it can be to where like the energy is so high and I'm feeling what I'm doing. It's almost like running laps. You know what I'm saying? I call it like running out of gas. If I don't finish the song, I may have ran out of the energy that I had initially going into writing the song. So I don't want to I don't want you to hear that I ran out of gas mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like I just might something else may have just caught my attention and just kicked me out the zone, and I don't even feel like writing no more. Or maybe I want to write more, but it's like it ain't coming together how I want it to. You know what I'm saying? So it could be either or. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I'll go straight through and it'll come out, or what you hear is basically how I composed it. Or sometimes I'll write a little bit to it. You know what I'm saying? Leave it alone, come back to it. But when I do that, it's normally because it's like I feel so strongly about a song, I may have ran out of gas and I just want to come back and finish it off as strong as I feel I started it.
Yeah, that's fire. Now, also with your production selections, right, or choices, I noticed
Mhm.
that it's like contrast. Like even go back to Hustlers and Survivors, very melodic, but what you choose to speak about isn't like sing-songy. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Mhm.
you, you laying down the foundation, speaking your truth. Like, is that intentional as well, or does it just happen organically?
I think that's a little bit of both. I knew when I heard that particular beat, that was like some Burial Soul life, like real life type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew from the moment I heard that beat, and I didn't write to it right away. I kind of sat on it for a little while, but I knew um, that I wanted to have a sing along type element to it, because the beat is so friendly, but it's dope. It's
Yeah,
not like poppy. It's a friendly ass beat though. I feel like that beat could be played in any circumstance, and as long as his head's in there, you would get this. You know what I'm saying? You would get the bob into it. So it's kind of like, I bet, like I still want to be appealing. You know what I'm saying? All the while telling my truths, telling my lives, getting these bars off, whatever the case may be, telling a story. I still want to appeal. I still want to bring in as many listeners as I can. So with that said, I still want to stay who I am and put something together that I'm proud of and that I respect, and I feel like it's respectable. But at the same time, it's different little things that you can do, you know what I'm saying, to catch the attention of the listener. And it's all artistry at the end of the day. Like it's nothing to where I feel like, oh, I shouldn't have did that. You know what I'm saying? If I feel like it sound good and I feel like I can make it sound good, then I'm gonna do it. So yeah, that
hmm
was definitely a little bit of both. That was intentional as well as organic.
yeah. So as far as the album goes, how long is the process approximately? Because all albums are different from
Mhm.
beginning to end. And when do you know that is done? Because because even when you listen to classic albums, you say to yourself, how did they know we
Right,
just needed 13 joints? They may have
right,
recorded 50, but they
right.
selected 13. How do you know?
So I know for me, my projects, I don't never really want to do too much. You know what I'm saying? So if I do any more than 12 joints, I think 14 is like the cutoff. I don't think I ever do anything more than that.
And
So
Bloodstained
the
Suede
length,
had 8, right? The first one had 8 tracks, right? Okay, so you
yep,
upped it up to okay,
absolutely.
gotcha, alright.
Yeah. And that was the first time I did, because Bloodstained Suede wasn't necessarily an EP, because I think like the standard for EP, it got to be less than 30 minutes. So Bloodstained Suede still was over 30 minutes, but in lengthwise, I feel like I said everything I needed to say. Plus, those joints are the joints that I felt fit together sonically. You know what I'm saying? With Bloodstained Suede 2, I didn't necessarily want to build on Bloodstained Suede 1. I mean, I did, but in a different way. So neither one of those projects sound like the other. Like sonically, we chose to take it in a very different direction with Bloodstained Suede 2. I wanted 2 to be all encompassing. I wanted this to be my magnum opus as far as like what I can do as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I could come back, do that a little different. I could rearrange a little over here. So it's just I wanted to give you an overall picture on who I am as an artist, who IAMGAWd is as an artist. You know what I'm saying? But I still wanted to maintain integrity with the bar. Still wanted to maintain integrity with the content. Still wanted to be creative with song structure and all that. You know, so just going through these processes, it's like I probably spent more time than what I wanted to with Bloodstained Suede too, because I could remember like, man, still not done, still not done, still not done. And I did that for months. You know what I'm saying? I think Bloodstained Suede 2 might have took like maybe a year's time, you know what I'm saying, to get where I wanted. And I know that's regular for like artists of our era, you know what I'm saying? They took anywhere from 1 or 2, maybe even longer, 2 years, you know what I'm saying, to compose a project. But it's like for me, that's kind of long. It'll normally take me somewhere like 7, maybe 8 months, you know what I'm saying, like that to compose a project. But for this one, I want to say it took like a year's time. And that's because, you know, I just really wanted to I always want to put my best foot forward, but I really wanted to make a statement with this particular project. So, and I'm always trying to edit and adjust the track list while I'm creating.
Mhm.
So once I get the songs back and I know the songs is finished, I can move stuff here and there and listen to how everything flow. And once I get that feeling of like, damn, I don't really know if it's too much more I can do with what I have, then I kind of figure, all right, yeah, we done. And you know what I'm saying? You know, the chest stick out a little bit, like I'm proud, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, we done, bro.
So you just said you wanted to make a statement, so please speak to me about the importance of a solid intro track, because you figured that
Ooh,
out. What does that
yeah,
mean to
bro.
you?
So I think in metaphors more times than not. And a solid opening track is the equivalent of, let's just take it to fighting, not to get on a negative wave, but let's just take it to fighting. If you want to fight, the object of that fight is to win that fight. But if you can, you want to mentally mentally affect your opponent. So the start a decent opening track or a great opening track is the equivalent of like a mouth shot, to where you just boom, you know what I'm saying? You bust a motherfucker and they spitting out teeth or spitting out blood or whatever. It's kind of like, oh shit, they gonna take a step back, look at their hand, and they gonna evaluate whether they want to carry on with this fight or hold on, man. Like, look, let's do this another way. So you know what I'm saying? To me, that's the equivalent of like opening track. It's kind of like it gotta grab you. And people know what I do, you know what I'm saying? They coming around like they know I rap, they know I rap well, they know I'm aggressive, they know I'm passionate, they know I'm a technician, they know I'm tactical. So my thing is like, you know why you coming to IAMGAWd, you know why you listening to my music. You know what I'm saying? There's other things that's gonna be there, but I'm gonna always give you what you initially known me for. You know what I'm saying? And that's just like the hardcore, gritty, you know what I'm saying? Just like this motherfucker is rapping. And that's what a lot of people telling me, like, bro, on that Bloodstained Suede II, that title, that opening track is like, bro, like, why's you rapping so hard like that? I'm like, bro, like, I gotta give you that. That's who I am in my core. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important, like how you started, what's in between the start and finish, and definitely how you finish it. You know what I'm saying? And it don't have to be the same all the time. You can still prove your point and make an impact. It don't have to be a hard joint, you know what I'm saying? But it just depends on the mood, you know what I'm saying? But it's definitely important. Like that's super important to me.
So when you're setting the tone, obviously sequence is a big thing because to put out a solid album, the sequencing has to be intact, right? So when you're
Absolutely.
recording that intro track, is it part of the process, or do you sit down and intentionally state that this first song gonna be the intro, and then everything else after that will be added to that, or do you just select the intro from a batch of songs?
See, that particular song, I knew it was gonna either be an intro or outro, just because it was like the aggression of it, the tone of it. I knew it was gonna be either or, and I toyed around with the idea, or I pondered the idea before I actually settled in on what it was gonna be, and it ended up being the opener, the title track and the opener. So I just knew though, like even when I had the first verse, I'm like, because initially I was thinking of like, okay, since Bloodstained Suede I was kind of like 70s soul inspired, the black exploitation era type shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I was gonna make a complete contrast and do all hard joints for Bloodstained Suede II and just like gritty, you know what
Okay.
I'm saying? But it just ended up being like a overall just body of work with a bunch of different sounds, but still making everything fit. But even when I just had the first verse, I'm like, nah, it's either gonna be an intro or outro. This too hard, you know what I'm saying? And it's powerful, you know what I'm saying? So absolutely.
So outside of your God given ability, when you're creating that album, right? And you know you got a solid intro, how do you
Mhm.
not rest on your laurels and still continue to create good music in a sense? Because sometimes if someone reached their peak, they're like, oh, I got
Mhm.
one. And you can hear it kind of fall off throughout the writing and the rest of the project. So how do you just stay hungry? Like, yo, I want tracks 1 through 15 to be heat.
Man, bro, because I'm a body of work type artist. You know, I feel like I'm a throwback to the artists that I grew up on. You know what I'm saying? And that time too. You know, it was a lot of negatives about the industry and how they treated artists and you know what I'm saying, the unfair shit. You know what I'm saying? But it was a lot of good that I took from that time to where the industry was flourishing too.
Mhm.
The way they promote it, you know what I'm saying? The way they would have artists, you know what I'm saying, create and the standards and the blueprints. Some of that shit is very valuable. And I ain't doing nothing new. I'm basically blowing the dust off what the artists of my era did. Like it's not too many artists putting out music in that fashion. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's how they compose it or how they promote it. And that's what I draw from. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just blowing the dust off of what I grew up on. So it's kind of like in that sense, um, in that sense, it's just like I, just going back to the body of work. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm chasing history, bro. Like I ain't chasing a bag. Like legit. Like I literally, if your top five is whoever your top five is, it could be the icons like Rakim and Cool G and Kane and Chris and you know what I'm saying, all them, or it could be the legends that came after them, Nas, Jay, Big, Pac, whoever. I want to be mentioned with those dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to infiltrate your top five. Like, yes, I would settle and I would love to be considered one of the best of this era, but my purpose and mission is to be considered one of the greatest of all time. And if I can infiltrate your top five when it's all said and done, or even before it's all said and done, I did my job, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm here for because my forefathers, you can tell they was out to make history. You can tell that they was out to be here forever, as long as possible. They wasn't here to just put out a couple albums and be gone tomorrow or not had a music amount to nothing. Like they was here to actually spread a message and actually plant their flag and let it be known. And I want IAMGAWd to stand the test of time. I want that name to be mentioned 25, 30 years from now, you know what I'm saying, if possible. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to be limited to, oh, he was one of the best of the 2020s, you know what I'm saying, the early 2020s. I don't want to be that's cool because it's still history, but it's not. It's too short sighted. Like my ambitions are much larger than that. You know what I'm saying? My hunger is insatiable. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't. I just I grew up on this. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have the average story of, oh, I ain't even want to rap. That shit just fell into my lap. You know, I don't have that story. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been
Mhm.
chasing this 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I'm chasing history, bro. So I understand what that entails. Is it's like the with Kobe or Mike, they was relentless. You know what I'm saying? Like they put in a work that would nobody else put in. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. So I understand what makes a legend. Besides impact, I mean, not besides impact, but besides anything monetary, like the advanced metrics or whatever, you know what I'm saying, the platinum or whatever, it's the art, bro. It's how you connected to the art, how potent that art was, and how consistent they was in providing that art and getting better or either maintaining that level of greatness. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that, and you can't do that with just having a couple good joints or a couple great joints on a project. You have to get as close as you can to great or exceptional for the whole body of work every time you come out. And I understand what I'm up against. Like it's nostalgia, bro. Like I feel like I probably won't even be able to infiltrate most people's top fives, but it's like I'm gonna try. You know what I'm saying? Because even if my phrase is like you shoot for the moon, so if you miss that, at least you somewhere among the stars. You know what I'm saying? Even if you fall short, you still higher than where most others is because you set your sights so high. And even though you fail just, you know what I'm saying, a little short of that, you know what I'm saying, you still in the atmosphere. So I understand what I'm up against, bro. Like I'm trying to make history. I understand nostalgia is not on my side. So I have to go extra hard. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that just makes the music better.
Now, so you mentioned top five and nostalgia, and people may not wanting to rework their top fives. So,
Hmm.
as an artist, are you cool with just finding your niche and staying there, or is it, or the challenge of getting in the top five is something that fuels you daily?
Yeah, it absolutely fuels me. That's
Yeah.
definitely one of the things that fuels me because my thing is like I didn't get into this because the glam and a flash is what attracted me as a young man. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like it ain't nothing like hip hop, the culture, and it's nothing like rap music. You know what I'm saying? Like we tell stories and create images in a way that no genre has before us, and I don't think no genre will after us. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop and rap is just it's just special. And when I was coming up, that was like a trade. That was like a skill, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a select few. It wasn't like how it is now to where everybody doing it and it's not like really as respected as it once was. Like I took pride and I still take pride in being an MC, but it was big pride in being an MC back in them 90s and them early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Like it was an esteemed position to be in, especially if you was good at it. You was almost looked up to. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I just take this super serious. Like this is my occupation. Yes, I got a 9 to 5, but if I have to be professional and put my best foot forward and play the part for a corporation, why can't I take that same energy and put it into what I'm trying to do? Like this is my legacy. You know what I'm saying? This is what I want to be known for. So just like I could get up at 6 o'clock and be out the crib by 7:30 and clock in on that time clock, punch that clock by 8 a.m. Why can't I be on time for an interview? Why can't I be at the studio on time? Why can't I come in knowing that I'm putting my best foot forward? Why when I compose these songs and these bars, I'm not putting my best foot forward? Because the listener is my customer. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's kind of like, why wouldn't I go hard for y'all like how I go for these people that don't know me, don't care about me, they just want the product that's being sent to them. You know what I'm saying? So why wouldn't I duplicate that energy and even maximize it, you know what I'm saying, and put more into mine, so everything is relative, bro. So I just take what I already know, what I already have, and I try to use it to where I'm trying to go and allow that to help me get there.
So, as an artist, what are some pitfalls or challenges that you face? Not just creating an album, but even with the balance, because for whatever reason, hustle and survivors keep coming up. Because you mentioned that in
Mhm.
that song, as far as 9 to 5. And so, what are some challenges? Because some people think that music is just a hobby, like you stated. Like
Mhm.
this is who you are. It's an extension of who
Absolutely.
you are. What you write, your approach, the interviews, you remain true to who you are. So, what are some pitfalls or ebbs and flows that you experience on a daily basis as an MC? Someone who cares.
Man, a lot of it is I say the biggest two is time and money. With time, you have to, even though I work a 8 hour shift 5 days a week, it's more than that 40 hours. You know what I'm saying? It's the getting up, getting ready to go. It's the commute. You know what I'm saying? It's being there. You know what I'm saying? It's the commute back. It's the winding down period. And then by that time, it's time to basically lay it down and do it all over again. So it's like time and money. And like with having, two beautiful sons who I love dearly, you know what I'm saying, having being the head of my household and being responsible for their well-being as well as my own and everything that goes on in this household and a lot of miscellaneous stuff. I just dropped 1,300 on breaks, you know what I'm saying, yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like doing all that, you know, the money. Like sometimes you can't just, it's still pay to play, whether you paying for someone's services or whether you paying for that, and it's still a service, paying for marketing, whether it's a feature. Like it's certain names that people say they want to hear me alongside, and it's like, shit, I do too, because I need to show y'all some things. Like I'm just as great as these dudes, but it's like everybody got a price. And you know, who am I to say, oh, he not worth that? Like I'm not that type of dude. Like as an artist, you set your value to what you feel like your artist worth.
Yeah.
And if I can't match that, it's up to me to get my weight up and holler at you when I can. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's time and money, you know what I'm saying? And I'm starting to accumulate more than one. I mean, more of one being money, you know what I'm saying? Like, but time is always fleeting, you know. So until I can get comfortable to the point I don't have to work a 9 to 5, you know, that time I'm gonna just have to make it work, you know. But it's like with the money thing, it's like I definitely wanna like get bigger features, you know what I'm saying? But just not like bigger names, like dudes I respect. You know what I'm saying? And I got some of that plan. Like I definitely got a surprise for y'all with the next release, you know what I'm saying? But just to do more of that, because that strategy as well, even though I respect these dudes, like it's also proof that like, oh shit, like he just as nice as
Yeah.
Wop the Bam. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an eye opener. It's one thing to have a name on your song, but if you able to secure a big feature, 9 times out of 10, if you're not known, the listener is clicking on that to hear the feature. So it's up to you to capitalize on that and bring it home and make them,
Yeah.
hey, I got some over here too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would say it's time and money, bro.
So time and money. So what role does partnership play in that? Because you collab with Clypto Beatz, right? So having a
Hmm.
partnership with someone and having a mutual vision, how does
Hmm.
that aid in your success as an artist?
Oh man, that's invaluable because I don't like just on a small scale. I don't make beats. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even really say I ever really tried. Like I've had like little software like to where I tried to make a beat or whatever, but it's not like I ever focused on that. Like I'm gonna be Kanye or something. You know what I'm saying? So they provide something that I just don't have within me, or at least something that I haven't recognized. Who knows? Maybe I will attempt to make beats 5 years from now. Who knows? But excuse me, as far as now, it's like they definitely providing something that I don't have. And it's also they provide that a feeling. They like through what they provide me being the music, they give me a feeling. You know what I'm saying? And that allows me to be at my best. Because if I was just relying on my own creativity, I wouldn't be as nice. I'm not that creative. Like I need these things to help me um maximize my potential and perform at my highest peak. You know, so producers, they are artists like Crypto, or whether it be a Black Depths or a Max Julian or Custom Made or a Dr. Mindbender, or you know what I'm saying, whoever I'm working with at the time. It's like they provide me a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because without that music, like nobody is buying a spoken word I Am God project. You know what I'm saying? So they provide a lot. And they help me as far as the art of emceeing as well, because Crypto opened me up to a lot of things that I may have been familiar with artistically, but I just hadn't done since I came back into music in 2020. You know, so it's kind of like he helps me broaden my horizons as an artist and as an MC as well with the heat that he provide me. So it's invaluable, bro, to say the least. It's invaluable.
So on this project, Bloodstained Suede II, at this particular moment, what would be the song that you would introduce to a listener that's never heard of you? If you had to play one song off the album, what would be at this particular moment? What would be that song you press play on?
Dialogue of Living Man Part Two.
Mm,
Yeah. And I say that because like I know it's like it deviates for what I from what I normally do flow wise.
mm,
But the reason why I picked that is because you get that double time, whatever you want to call it, trappy type flow. It's kind of like a trappy type double time cadence. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
And you get that, but it's like the content. You know what I'm saying? So you get firsthand that okay, I know this dude can do more than one thing. I also get that I'm a walk away with something. I'm gonna leave with something, you know what I'm saying, after listening to his music. And also that beat, bro. That
That
beat is
beat is
just
fire.
beautiful. That
That beat
beat
is
is
fire.
beautiful, bro. Like it's so crazy. And that's a perfect
Yeah.
example of like, had I wrote that to another beat, it wouldn't have been that, of course, because it's a totally different piece of music.
Mhm.
But that's what I mean. Like I feel like that's the best form of dialogue of living men too that you can get. If I would have wrote that to another beat, it wouldn't have been as impactful. It wouldn't have been as potent for me. You know what I'm saying? So man, it's like it would. I think it would be dialogue of living men part two.
That's right. And you know what's funny about that song? Because that's the second to last song on the album, right? If I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That particular track, from my ears, could have been an outro or intro. That's how
absolutely,
when I listened to it, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. This could have been an intro as well. That's why I was asking you the questions
absolutely.
about when you write your intros. Is it do you key in on it or do you work through it and then you select? Because when I'm listening to that song, I'm like, wow, like that's fire.
I definitely was going to end it with that. That was going to be the outro because that's the reason why I ended with the outro within the song. Like gratitude is the attitude. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. You know what I'm saying? Love. And even the last few bars until the next joint, I'll be back in a minute and then we can do it again. So it was actually going to be the outro. So it was like, but I'm thinking like, man, like I just had to like, I just had to like marinate on Wrong Side of the Gun or Dialogue of Living Men too. And I just felt Wrong Side of the Gun didn't fit coming after Must Go On. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't justify putting that song there after Must Go On. You know what I'm saying? Even though it kind of would have made sense because I got the gunshot at the end of the song and all that, and then Wrong Side of the Gun. But it was just like I just felt I just felt it, you know what I'm saying, with Dialogue of Living Men being second to last and ending it with Wrong Side of the Gun. You know what I'm saying? I just felt it for some reason. I felt it more. But that was definitely a candidate for an outro. That's
Yeah,
crazy that you
that's
peeped that.
fire. Yeah, that I love that joint. So, what this album or your creative process now? How does it set you up or transition you to the next album?
Oh man, that one is easy because the next album is like, oh, not album, it's actually gonna be an EP, but it's
Okay.
all the material that didn't make Bloodstained Suede 1 or 2. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's gonna be, and that's actually an EP, 7 joints, under 30 minutes. But yeah, like I'm looking forward to that one. Like, it's like I said, I got a surprise for y'all on that one. But yeah, it made it easy. And that, like, I try to stay ahead. So I was already working on that while I was closing up Bloodstained Suede 2. I was already putting pieces together for the next project after. And I'm actually working on like 3 projects at once right now. Because it's like my thing is to hit y'all with 4 for the year 2024 because I only hit y'all with 1 last year with Bloodstained Suede. And I always want to do at least 2. Because like I said earlier, this ain't the 90s or the early 2000s. Like you can't just really feed the people whenever you want to and expect to continue to elevate like I want to. So I have to be in y'all face. And the fact that I have this newfound appreciation for the music. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more people tapping in than ever right now. So it's like I gotta maintain and uphold, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta put my best foot forward. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta make sure everything is dope. But I also have to come with the new shit, new material, because it's like, this is just a microwave ready ass time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm up for that challenge.
So storytelling. I think you just mentioned "Must Go On," right?
Yeah.
Please speak about that song, man, because just this the process of the way you ended it. How do you
Yeah.
know how you should end the track? Because listening to the song, I was on an emotional roller coaster. I didn't expect that to happen, to be honest with you.
Mm.
So how did you
Mm.
come up to that the ending and knowing that that's the lane you should go in? I should state. How did you know you should stop the song there?
I love this shit, bro, because you listen intentionally, bro. Like you ask the right questions, bro. Like it was a whole different ending to that song. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's a gunshot at the end of the song, she didn't kill him. You know what I'm saying? Like so the gunshot thing is
Wow,
indicative. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fire. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like the gunshot thing is indicative of the number of tracks. So Bloodstained Suede, right? At the end of the opener, it's 8 gunshots at the end of that song. The voice come on, Bloodstained Suede, and then you hit a gun cock, and then it's 8 gunshots. Those 8 gunshots are representative of the first of 8 songs out of 10. You don't hear another gunshot on a song until Must Go On. That's 9. And then you hear one last gunshot at the end, the Wrong Side of the Gun, which is 10. So it's like Bloodstained Suede is also indicative or symbolic of like me and Clypto, we killing shit. You know what I'm saying? But we on some smooth shit, but we killing shit. So it's blood stains left on the suede. You know what I'm saying? But them gunshots is indicative of like every shot is like a kill shot damn near. Well, it's not a kill shot, but every shot is like bringing you closer to the end. You know what I'm saying? And then that last one is the one that just finish you off, and that's the nail in the coffin. So that's the science behind the gunshots. But for that particular one, that's just how I wanted to end the song. You know what I'm saying? With that gunshot. And I know for people, it's kind of like they would kind of be confused. Like some listeners, like, damn, like did she? Because he said this, but then it's a gunshot. So did she run up in the hospital and kill him? Like, damn, what happened? So it's like
Yeah,
the way.
yeah,
And
yeah.
again, like you interpret it how you want to interpret it. But from my mind, when I was writing it, at first, I had her actually running down on dude like some years after the fact. But then I always want to try to give like the most realistic experience too. You know what I'm saying? So even though I've I've never been in this situation, I've never known nobody to be in this situation. This is pure fiction. But at the same time, it's kind of like I want to keep it as relatable as possible. So even the last bars is what I say. Um, he looked something shocked at what was just said. She kissed his forehead, walked out, and left him on his deathbed.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she, I mean, it's over with. Like, buddy, you know what I'm saying? This is, you know what I'm saying? He basically got cirrhosis of the liver. I mentioned that in one of the verses too. So he out of there. Like, he finished. Like, he coughing up blood. He losing weight. You know what I'm saying? He not who he used to be. Like, he out of there. So her mindset is like, this is poetic justice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to harm you. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything that you did to me happened to you times two. So that was just like a little game I wanted to play, because I could have put that gunshot anywhere on any song. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, it's just like some shit, some miscellaneous shit. Just let me throw it in there and see if they catch it or not. You know what I'm saying? But I love storytelling joints, bro. Like, again, like the artists I grew up on, Nas, Biggie, Jay, even Slick Rick, Pop, you know what I'm saying? Like, they all told stories and they all did it well. Um, I just feel like that's a very important part of emceeing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that storytelling capability. Like, you have to be able to bring a listener into your world and have them see what you see, but as you see it as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's dope to be able to come up with your own meaning to something. But when I can make you see it like how I intended for it to be seen, I feel like that's special. So, man, storytelling is big to me, and I have fun writing that particular song too.
Yeah, that song is phenomenal, man.
Gratitude.
Storytelling, like obviously you're a prolific writer. I can tell that you pay attention to the little things. Would you consider
Hmm.
yourself to be an avid reader? Like, where do you draw from? Like, where's the imagination? Outside, I know you listen to Nas and a bunch of
Right.
hip hop artists, so you know the blueprint in a sense. But where do you draw that inspiration or the imagination that comes with it?
It's also from literary works. I won't say I'm an avid reader. I probably, up to this point, I probably haven't read in like a few months. I'll say a few months. The last time I read was probably like either the very end, I mean the very beginning of the new year, or the very end of last year. So I don't read as much as I would like to, but I do try to pick up something every few months. I just recently cracked open the autobiography of Malcolm X. That's what I'm actually reading right now.
It's a good
I
read
never
right
read it before. Yeah, I never read it before, and I know it's a staple. I always see that book brought up. So I'm like, I know. And Malcolm X is one of my favorite black figures, one of my favorite figures of American history, period. You know what I'm
there.
saying? So it's kind of like I had to tap in with that one. But before that, I think I read Rakim's book. I can't remember the name of it, but I read that, and I read Jay's I forgot what it was.
What
Decoded.
decoded?
I read
Decoded,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I read that. In my 20s, like I was reading a lot of like Donald Goines, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, not even being locked up and shit, but just
yeah.
hearing some of my guys get locked up and mentioning the name, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna check dude out. So I read Daddy Cool. What's another Donald Goines joint I read? I read a couple. I read the Coldest Winter. Um,
Sister
I
Soldier,
think
yeah.
that's just a soldier. Yeah, I read that. So I like shit that I could relate to, but I'm also not opposed to like things that's like outside of where I'm from or who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been going back and forth on whether or not I want to read the 48 Laws of Power. And if I do end up reading, I'm gonna definitely grab 52, you know what I'm saying, and
Hmm.
read the 50th Laws of Power. I want to get Bruce Lee joint, the G Kwon joint. Like, I want to read that too. But yeah, just like anything that I could feel like that could add to my existence while I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And but of course it's gonna translate to the music because my thing is not. I don't want to separate I am God from the man I am. Like he is I and I am him. So I don't want to. I don't want there to be a line between, you know what I'm saying, those two. Like I want real life to always translate over into the music. And I want my music to always be, you know, be a glimpse into my real life. Like I don't want to just put on like a mask and create this character. Like I want you to feel like you get a sense of knowing me after you listen to the music.
Mm, that's fine. So, in this album, are there any hidden gems or things that you feel as though the listener may not catch right away that you would want to share?
Hmm. Um, let me see. I wouldn't say the only hidden gem. I don't even think it's a gem. I just think the little trickery with the ending that must go on. But I don't think it's no hidden gems that nobody has picked up on. I think certain joints. I ain't gonna say don't get the attention they deserve, but I'm gonna say I think sometimes certain joints don't get spoke about. Or I'll be like, damn, y'all ain't hear that, or y'all ain't listen to that. Like it with Unhappy Home. You know what I'm saying? That's a very personal joint, but at the same time, it's real. And I know there's people out there that could relate to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that's the type of stuff because I know y'all love me for the lyricism and for the bars and all that, but it's kind of like when I choose to, you know what I'm saying, go to greater depths, you know what I'm saying, of my soul, you know what I'm saying, my spirit. Like those are type of joints that I want to resonate with people because I know we could all. That's I mean, shit, that's why we still talking about artists like Pop to this day. You know what I'm saying? Because just like the resonation and just like being able to just like relate. You know what I'm saying? So I think sometimes stuff like that, but I wouldn't say any hidden gems or nothing that like that people don't pick up on that I want them to pick up on.
Yeah. So when I say like hidden gem, yeah, that maybe that was the wrong verbiage, but like even something as simple as "Unhappy Home," I thought it was
Hmm.
ironic that that song came on right before "Must Go On," and then when you
Mm,
connect those two together, it's like,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, okay. So I see what you're saying. Yeah, that was definitely like I peeped that too. And because I remember Jarv, shout out Jarv and them, you know what I'm saying, over at the rap round table. He
mhm,
was like, when they did they breakdown, he said he was a little he didn't really mess with the sequence as far as like uh Unhappy Home coming after If You Ready. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, for me, I couldn't put Must Go On right after If You Ready. I couldn't put a song essentially about domestic abuse and violence against women right after a song that I'm dedicating to women. You know what I'm saying? Even though Must Go On is not about me personally, it's just that it sends the wrong signal. You know what I'm saying? Like it would make me uncomfortable to hear that. Like, damn, like he chose to put that right after that. You know what I'm saying? So the the Must Go On being right after Unhappy Home, I feel like that was more fitting. You know what I'm saying? Because you can kind of link those two types of traumas. You know what I'm saying together. Even though again, Must Go On is not about me personally, but a lot of times when you hear about dudes being violent towards women, you know what I'm saying, in domestic abuse situations, it's kind of like it's something there, you know what I'm saying, something that allowed them to grow into that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like whether it's the dysfunction at home with your OG or whatever the case may be, but that's just like grouping trauma together. And I sonically I didn't want to separate that too much because I feel like it's kind of linked, even though the songs and the story's not linked. Those particular traumas is kind of linked, and it's kind of like I wanted to give you that back to back. You know what I'm saying? To
yeah,
make you that was the portion of the album to where like okay, it's time to put your thinking hat on. Like let's be analytical here. Like let's be critically analytical.
yeah, because even like "If You Down" could be attached to
Linked in with
the
that. Yeah.
"Unhappy Home" because what the song is about, why you doing that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because of the unhappy home, and like I just think the way you write and the way you sequence, it's like reading a book, and that's why I
Yeah.
asked if you were
Absolutely.
an avid reader because the experience, like it captivates you. You know what I'm saying? So as a
I
listener,
definitely look at the song titles like chapters. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
ah,
even though, yeah, because like my with my track list, and I kind of want you to be able to read the track list and be like, oh shit, that actually makes sense. Even though every song is not about the next, still it's something there that's going to link to the next song. It's purposeful why I think was the way it is. So yeah, and that also goes back to me saying like it's up for open interpretation. Once I give you the art, it's up to y'all to break it down and pick it apart and do with it what you will. But what I'm finding is more times than not, like what you just did, more times than not, y'all hitting a mark on something that I thought initially. Whether I went through with it or didn't, it still crossed my mind. And
Mm.
the same with those three particular songs. How should these particular songs be sequenced so I can give the message what I'm trying to give, or how would it be perceived? Can you link these things together? And it's like, yeah, that definitely crossed my mind a few times. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So what is the role of skits in your albums? Because I'm one of those guys who, when it comes to skits, it has to make sense. And I think you guys do a
absolutely.
great job with that. Like, what is the research behind that? Or do people come with you with the skits and you work around it? Or do you write the song and then you find a skit that goes along with it? How do you input those skits in your the album discography or the track list?
Yeah, so I definitely write all the music first, and if I feel like any skits are needed, it could be for comic relief. You know what I'm saying? It could be to make a song fit better. Because for If You Down, I just didn't feel like I really wanted to incorporate that song. Excuse me, and I didn't feel like it fit without those skits. Like sonically, I just didn't think it fit. Like I just didn't feel like it was a space in that particular track list to put that song, but I had to include it. So I'm like, you know what? I called my homegirl Raven. Shout out my homegirl Raven. I'm
She
like,
bodied
look,
that too. She bodied that.
yeah,
She bodied
yeah. I'm like, this the demonstration. You know what I'm saying? Woo out the bam. I need you to come through, shorty. You rocking with it? She like, yeah, I got you, because you know what I'm saying. She a funny motherfucker anyway. Like she is hilarious. You know what I'm saying? So she did it. She knocked it out. You know what I'm saying? She killed it. I'm like, yes, now it fits. You know what I'm saying? And even with like the little audio clip at the end of Carbon Monoxide, like that's just like that's some Chicago shit. So like that audio was actually from a video I saw on Instagram, and it's like the brother probably was like, you know what I'm saying, a cluck or something, like an addict, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And he was talking to some dudes that was recording, and he going through this story. And I'm like, man, if you from Chicago, you know that's how OG, like Chicago niggas is some of the best storytellers ever. Like the animation, the tone inflections, you know what I'm saying? Like it's an experience hearing a Chicago dude tell a story. I mean, like we gonna give you a visual, you know what I'm saying? Like everything. So it's like I had to have that, and I felt it didn't fit nowhere else but the end of that song. Even though the song was already long as hell, I'm like, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like this is art. Ain't no time constraints on art. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to use that because it was so funny, but it's so Chicago at the same time. But yeah, like it definitely got to make sense. I'm not with just putting extra things on just to have extra things on to say I did it.
Mm. So as an MC, you're writing, right? And obviously, I'm pretty sure you get called to do features and things of that nature, right? How do
Absolutely.
you balance staying in the vein of your own particular project while
Mm,
also writing to somebody else's music who may be doing something totally left field? It's not right or wrong, but it's just a different
right.
direction. How do you stay within your own creative process, but still tap outside of that and say, I gotta get this dude to 16 bars?
It can be tough, but as an artist, like I'm built for it. And like I said, I speak in metaphors. I would liken that to like, okay, let's just say it's the weekend and you off, you ain't gotta work. You chill in your crib how you chill in your crib. Let's say somebody invites you to their crib, you know what I'm saying, and you decide to go. You know, you got to get dressed. They might want you to take your shoes off. You know what I'm saying? You might have to dress a certain way depending on the occasion, whatever. So I liken it to that. So working on my own project will be at the crib chilling. You know what I'm saying? That's my time off. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably in basketball shorts, a t-shirt, some socks, and some Nike slides with a do-rag on. But now, you know what I'm saying, whoever just invited me over, so I got to get dressed a little bit, you know what I'm saying, throw on some cologne, you know what I'm saying, take the do-rag off, whatever, make sure I'm decent. And it's like, okay, that's my time while I'm over there. But as soon as I'm done over there, I'm coming back home, I'm decompressing, and I'm getting back into my element. So that's how I liken that. You know what I'm saying? I have to put myself where they are for that particular track and do my best to add on to what they doing while still keeping the vibe. But at the same time, I know what I'm doing over here is totally different. So it's easy for me. It's easier for me to go back home than it is to like get up and go to their crib. But
That's
if I
correct.
mess with them, you know what I'm saying, it's not a difficult task at all.
Wow, that's a great answer right there, man. So as far as your albums go, Do you feel as though Bloodstained 1 and 2 have they kind of challenged people's expectations or perceptions of you in any way?
Yeah, I would say so because I feel like up until Bloodstained Suede 2, I heard a lot of people say or express that Bloodstained Suede 2 um is different but in a good way. Like
Mm.
it's more mm, it's kind of it was writtenish to certain people, but you know how people kill it was written initially, like they not killing me for it. Like I
Yeah.
thought, and I thought that certain joints, like I was gonna get killed for it. Like I thought like the listeners wasn't gonna be with certain joints, like the If You Down, like the whole nother level. I went into this like because I'm always asking for like constructive criticism. So I'm always asking my listeners, like, what would y'all, you know what I'm saying, like to hear from me? And depending on how I feel about it, it's not a guarantee that that's what I'm gonna give you, but it's just interesting to hear the listeners' thoughts and you know what I'm saying, and wants and expectations.
Mhm.
And it's like it's always positive, bro. And sometimes it's kind of frustrating, like, damn, like y'all don't hit nothing that I could improve on. Like, I mean, shit, if that's the case, nigga, why I'm still here? Why I'm getting up and working a 9 to 5 every day if it's the music that tight? You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's just I just heard that people say that this is a well put together body of work that hits so many different marks. You know what I'm saying? Like you, oh, you really checking boxes on this one, bro. You know, and it's like I get that because I haven't done this many different things on one body of work previously with any of my other projects. You know, it's kind of like not to say that they wasn't good and well thought out and well planned and well received, but this one is definitely like showing that I can like touch different markets and you know what I'm saying, do different things while still remaining me and give y'all music to vibe to as well as to think to. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to do it all because I was raised on well, not all. I want to do everything that I love that's in me because it's me. You know what I'm saying? Because like you know artists they gave you different looks, you know what I'm saying, and sometimes they hit or miss. I feel like I learned from all, I won't necessarily say mistakes because some people don't like You Owe Me, you know what I'm saying, by Nas. Some people love You Owe Me by Nas. It just all depends. Like I know everybody is not going to like everything, so it's kind of like as long as I could justify it and as long as I feel it, as long as it sounds good to my ears, I'm gonna run with it, you know what I'm saying. So it's like I know who I am, like I know what I'm comfortable with doing. Like I'd never put myself in a compromising position to where it's like, nah, bro, now you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I don't think I'll ever be foolish enough or thirsty enough to like ascend or tap into a different market to do nothing like that. Like, I feel like I have a pretty good gauge on who I am and what I could get away with.
Now, do you feel like are there any mistakes in the process of art? Because it's a fine
Hmm.
line between being um, people not understanding and
Hmm.
10 years later being a pioneer. When people look
Mm,
back on it, reverse engineer the situation, like, oh wow, he was the first one to do that. But at the time,
right.
it's deemed to
That's
be
heavy.
something they shouldn't have did. So, do you feel like there are mistakes in art, or it's just part of the process?
As far as creating it,
Yeah.
mm, anything is possible, but I'm gonna have to say no. And the only reason I say no is because like you aware of what you're doing at the time. Well, I'm gonna say yes because okay, I'm thinking from my own personal experiences. I can see how artists from the 90s or the early 2000s could say, "Oh, I shouldn't have made that song. I shouldn't have put that shit out. That was a mistake. I shouldn't have let that fly."
Got it.
Because you have pressures from label heads, you know what I'm saying? It's not just you not just it's not just you know what I'm saying, and your team that's in control of what's coming out and what's not coming out. So I could see back then, you know what I'm saying, like how yes, it could be such thing as mistakes in the art, but in this era, at least for me in my position, I don't think I could say like I would make a mistake by putting anything out because it's like I felt it at the time, and if it didn't hit, I could respect that and I can own up to that and I can stand on it. I
Yeah.
just put out something that didn't hit. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say it's a mistake because if it makes its way to y'all ears, I believed in it. So no, I wouldn't say nah. For me,
Yeah.
nah.
So let's rewind back because you mentioned whole nother level, right?
Hmm.
You're singing on that hook.
Right.
Now, couple of years, not even a couple of years, maybe a decade ago, people would be like, "Yo, why you didn't get such and such to come in and sing the hook?" But
Right.
listening to it, I'm saying to myself, that showcased another tool in your bag.
Absolutely.
So was that intentional as well, or did you have someone sing the hook and he's like, "No, I don't like it. You know what? Let's just go with the demo version." So did you?
Now,
Yeah,
that was, yeah, it was absolutely intentional for the very same reason you just spoke on. Like, I definitely, like, you got to give me my credit, and that's a part of like going into the chasing history thing.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna beat my chest and be like, oh, but I wrote that hook though. Yeah, he sung it, but I wrote it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, I wrote it for him to sing it. So I'm gonna let him get that credit, him or her, whoever the case, whatever the case may be. But the fact that I did it, it was like, yeah, like this is definitely like another notch in the belt to show you what I can do. You know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely not it's definitely, it wasn't a last resort type demonstration. Like I feel like I got a decent enough voice to where I could get away with that in particular. You know what I'm saying? Like now anything more than that, I'll probably be putting in some calls, spending a little money. You know what I'm saying? But with that particular situation, I definitely wanted to do that because that shows the writing, the penmanship, and it also shows the vocal ability. And even though, like I said, I'm not trying to sing, it's just like another notch of the belt. Just like you said, I did it for that exact reason.
Hmm. That's fire right there. And that's what track three is. It track three?
Track track 4.
Track four? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So at this particular moment, as an artist, I've seen you rap over many different tempos and take different approaches, double time, slow flow. When it comes to different elements, are there any things that you want to rap over as far as like maybe some jazz elements? You want to get into folk music samples? Is there any particular sound that you've heard that you haven't tapped into that you feel as though would be something that you would look forward to putting out to the people?
um I kind of that kind of started for me with Bloodstained Suede one, because even though it's a lot of 70s like soul on there, it's actually like a little bit of like 80s pop R&B on there too.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm partial to that too. Like I grew up on that, so it's kind of like I don't really necessarily have nothing to what I'm looking forward to creating over. But if it comes my way and it's dope, then by all means, I'm rocking. You know what I'm saying? But it's not nothing that's like bucket list or checklist type shit. Then it's like, oh, I gotta get in some shit over there. Like, but I do want to work with No ID. I want to work with Alchemist, you know what I'm saying? And I know that they definitely utilize like jazz influences and things like that when they create, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to it, but it's nothing that's just like bucket list type shit.
Yeah, I know that's on the way because, like I stated before, Shot Town, man. When it comes to putting together albums, y'all gonna you're gonna be progressive in some way. You know what I'm saying? And I
Absolutely.
always respected that about the region, man. So
Absolutely.
at this moment, at this moment, Bloodstained 2 is out.
Hmm.
Live shows are probably starting to pick up.
Yep.
How does that process work as far as the memorization of the lyrics, um, ad libs on stage, working with a DJ? What is the preparation time attached to that? Because people feel as though it's just rap and then you move on to perform, and there's an art behind that too. That's two different things. How does that work?
Bro, you know what you know. Man, let me just preface my comments by saying this. Like, the stage performing and recording is two different worlds. And I understand how one may think that they more similar than what they really are because it's the same music being performed. Like when you in a booth, you performing essentially. You know what I'm saying? You performing for uh the listening experience. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure your tone is right. You want to make sure the inflections is right or inflections is right. You want to make sure the cadence is right. You know, the flow is right. All of it. I get that. Yes, being in a booth is a performance. You know what I'm saying? But the stage is a different type of performance. It's live. It's one take, one shot. You don't get to say run that back. You don't get to say let me punch that in. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't get to say oh I want to do that over. I ain't like how that sound. And it's kind of like to be even a good just a good performer, a decent performer, you have to live with that, knowing that what however this shit come out, I just got to keep going. You know what I'm saying? I can't take it back. I can't do it over. So preparation, I say all that to say preparation is just countless like hours of just like going over these songs and making sure I got them how I got them. Now you already have them because of the recording process. You know what I'm saying? That whole process. Like I just did a show a couple weekends ago to where I performed all joints from like 2020, the IAMGAWd project, my first project when I came back. And that shit was challenging because these are songs I really haven't listened to or rapped in like years. And I don't think I ever performed no joints from IAMGAWd, maybe a couple, but it was still years ago. So going back, and I had to do 7 joints. I had like a 30-minute set. So like learning all them joints, knowing they was that old, it was kind of like, damn, like I was having trouble with it at first, but then as I got back comfortable, it's like riding a bike. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I knew that song that much.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And another part of the process is the performance track. Like I do not like rapping over my vocals. That's something I know it got popular with a Kiss and the Locks and the Dipset verses. But if you a true performer and a true artist and MC, like you know better. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I understand like with the different genres of rap, like it's not really MC type shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like they just doing whatever they doing. But as an MC, like I knew better. You know what I'm saying? Like I have done it before, but I never like made a habit of doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I haven't done it in like years, probably like more than like damn near a decade. I haven't performed. You know what I'm saying? So when I get my shit made, shout out to my engineer, Dr. Mindbender. Um, I leave in a hook, have him mute all the mains, and I leave any ad libs or stacks I may have. You know what I'm saying? Any overdubs, and those are just like reference points. So if I do have a brain fart or whatever, I know something is coming to get me back on track to where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm right here. You know what I'm saying? So let's pick up there. But the performance, man, I'm still working on my performance because it's like, as of right now, my presence, my stage presence, I'm gonna definitely walk back and forth. I'm gonna definitely talk to you in the crowd. I'm gonna play with different parts of the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's kind of like I still feel like it's more to be done. I'm still missing something. I'm still searching for something. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not looking to be like a Busta Rhymes to where I'm, you know what I'm saying, like running all over the stage or whatever, super animated. But it's just more. I don't want to be a born performer either. And I get great receptions at my shows, but it's like I still feel like it's more I could do. Like I'm as serious about the stage part of this as I'm as serious I am about the music part of it.
Yeah.
So it's like I want them both to be here. You know what I'm saying? So right now I feel like music is here and stage performance is here, but it's slowly progressing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that shit is important, bro. Like it's so many nuances to performances and just being in sync with the DJ. But I try to make it easy. You know what I'm saying? I definitely do.
Wow. So as far as performing goes, you stated that Bloodstained won in the past, excuse me. You performed the album straight through. And I know you recently did a show with Sky Zoo, and he does the same thing when his albums comes out.
Mhm.
He rolls it out, track one all the way down, straight album, all the way through. So being in the presence of someone who does the same thing you do, how does that elevate you, or what are some things you take away from it?
I'm always looking to learn from my peers and from others. And Sky Zoo, like he has an impeccable memory because like I've been to like maybe 2 or 3 Sky Zoo shows when he come to Chicago, and it's like I don't know if I ever heard bro stumble over a word,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
crazy.
something that's like I can't do. I just know at some point in time in my show, I'm gonna fuck up. Now, the object is to not let the audience know that you messed up. But I always mess up. You know what I'm saying? Like I always stumble over a word or say the wrong word. Like I just know it's bound to happen. I don't care. I could have spit that song 10 times in a row perfectly to myself. But once I get on that stage, it's just so much going on. I know I'm gonna have a brain fart at one point in time in the show, maybe a couple points in times during the show. But it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like that clean transition. You know what I'm saying? Like making sure that you on top of it and you don't let the audience know. But I've never seen Sky Zoo like miss a word. You know what I'm saying? Like at least, or and if he has, is he really has it mastered to the point to where like his transitions is clean. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But always, like I went to the New York State of Mind show that was out in Chicago or close to Chicago, like what was that, a couple years ago, like 2022. And just watching, because I had never seen the Wu live in performance before. I had never seen Busta Rhymes live before. I seen Nas a few times prior to, but it was just like watching them and just like not even just necessarily the movements, how you transition between songs. If you're gonna tell a story, like if you not gonna perform and you just gonna like talk, what are you talking about in between songs? It's just not like all right, next joint type shit. It's like it's a stage show. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that because it's all encompassing and I'm taking notes of everything.
Mm. So, as an MC, could you please speak to the fans or supporters of your music or any other artists of how or the role that they play? Because when you come to a show, them reciting the lyrics helps you in some way too, right? Instead of having the phone all the time, you're gonna take your pictures and videos, but when you all in on the performance, reciting the
Right.
lyrics, helps the artist too, right?
Man, look, that happened at that same show I was just talking about to where I had to do all the music from 2020. And it was a dude, shout out to the little homie, Ulysses, you know what I'm saying? He was in the front row and he was going crazy. And me peeping that, I never seen that before. So not for me personally. So he almost fucked me up. Like I was so
Mhm.
like drawn into what he was doing. I'm like, I got to get back to the crowd because I'm like, oh shit, I'm watching him. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
performing, but I'm watching bro. So it's like, man, like that's dope. It's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But it's like for me personally, I'm still at such a low level in this shit. Like I'm still experiencing a lot of firsts. And that was the first time of me seeing anybody in the crowd reciting my shit back to me. So it's
Mm.
like it made me feel great, but it was overwhelming because I'm like, oh shit, stay
Ah,
on, you know what I'm saying? Stay
yeah.
on point, stay on point. So it's like, man, it's beautiful, but it's like I know I get used to it once it starts to happen more. And it's like I definitely I mess with that. You know what I'm saying? I mess with that, but it's like it's so new and it just threw me off guard. Like I was so surprised because again, I'm still at such a low level in this. You know what I'm saying? I don't be expecting people to like know the lyrics or this or that, but it's just like, hey man, like it's crazy. Like
Mm.
it was a pleasant ass surprise.
That's fire, man. So, as far as albums go, producer, rapper, singer, whomever, typically gets all the credit, right? As they
Right.
should. They put the work in. But I wanted to take some time to shed some light or give flowers to the role that the engineer, the studio
Mm.
owners, or the artwork people who create the artwork, what role do they play in your maturation process or just the creation of your albums? And if you don't
Man,
mind, you can shout them out too.
yeah, I love that you did that, bro. So we gonna start with like the engineer. Like, salute my bro, Dr. Mindbender. He actually produced my project Hell's Angels and Heaven's Demons. That was my second project I released in 2021. I released two that year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2021. So Hell's Angels and Heaven's Demons. He produced that in its entirety. So he's my primary engineer and he also a producer. And bro, like we've grown together. Like since I came back into music the end of 2019, like that's who I've been recording with. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we have such a functional relationship to where like he basically knows, you know what I'm saying, me, and you know what I'm saying. It's kind of we know what to expect from each other, and that's bro. It make the process of recording so easy because I'm not the type of artist that just like leave out the studio once it's done. I'm there for the mixing, the mastering, everything. That's shit that he can do on his own without me there. But I like being there for the process because this is my art. This is my craft. I have to make sure I get it as close to how I want it before it hits y'all ears. You know what I'm saying? So much love, respect to my bro Dr. Mindbender. Like he been a part of so much legendary, you know what I'm saying, happenings in Chicago as far as the music. Like, man, like bro gonna have a documentary sooner or later because he definitely a part of our stories. So I gotta say, shout out, bro, Dr. Mindbender, Grindhouse. He engineered all my work, the Bloodstained Suede, everything going back to IAMGAWd. Shout out to homie Custom Made, you know what I'm saying? Because he do most of my cover art, but he also a producer. He produced my first project from 2021 that came before Hell's Angels and Heaven's Demons, The Eternal Reflection. Now he didn't do that particular cover, but he produced that project in its entirety. So salute my bro, Custom Made. He did, however, do the covers for I Am God. Uh, oh, he didn't do Hell's Angels and Heaven's Demons either. That was the homie Squat Dead Face. So he did. Shout out him too. Um, so he did I Am God. He did Murder Castle, and he did Bloodstained Suede 1 and 2. I think those are the ones he did. Bloodstained Suede 1 and 2, Murder Castle, I Am God. Yeah, because I got 6 total. So shout out, bro, because anytime I need him, like he there, and like he always give me his best effort. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just like the way, like it don't take a lot for me to be like, yeah, that's the one. Like I definitely have him revise some things and go over some things, but it's like he normally get it. You know what I'm saying? Quick. And to the other two artists who provided me with cover art. Like I said, the homie Squad Deadface, he absolutely killed the cover for Hell's Angels and Heaven's Demons. And the other artist is 46 designs, I believe. They did the cover art for The Eternal Reflection, which is basically a portrait of Yummy Sandalwood, rest in peace. Like he was killed like in like the 90s, like oh, a crazy story, you know what I'm saying? Like BDs, the Black Disciples and all that. But yeah, like they definitely super important, and they don't get enough credit because that's a part of the package. You know what I'm saying? Like Bloodstained Suede II, I mean, it is what it is music wise, but when you see that image, you know what
Yes.
I'm saying? Like it's a connection there. Like like, oh, that's that shit. You know what I'm saying? So they again invaluable, bro. Like it's all a part of the story and the presentation and what we doing. You know what I'm saying? So I got to give them like much love and respect.
And salute to them, man. So
Absolutely.
Bloodstained 2. It's a three-part question here. Need three answers.
All right.
From your position and being the rapper or the artist, what would you consider to be the best instrumental? What is the
Mm.
best verse on the album? And what is the best mixed record on the album? So we got mixing, best verse, and the best instrumental. What you
Oh
selecting?
man. All right, so let's go backwards. The best mix song. Yikes. Man, you got them questions, bro. I like this. I love this right here, man. Uh best mixed. Man, the best mix. I'm gonna have to say Dialogue of Living Men too.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because for one, that beat has an audio sample in it. Or well, not an audio sample, but the beat is a vocal sample, you know what I'm saying, included with the loop. So sometimes it's hard to kind of like clip that and still make the artist, the main vocals stand out amongst that. Like the beat just might be naturally loud. And then if you
Yeah.
ain't got the stems or the sessions for that beat and you can't mix it, you have to kind of like work magic in order to create that perfect marriage between the artist vocals and then the vocal sample and the beat. And that's
Mhm.
a loud, not necessarily loud, but it's a higher tone. You know what I'm saying, that the artist is singing in that sample. So, and on top of that, I'm using a double time flow, so it's breaths all in between. But the way Doc minimizes those breaths, because I don't like for you to hear that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? To
Okay, I
me,
got
it sounds nasty. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like
you. Yeah, yeah.
I just like it to be clean to where you just hear the words, no breaths, no none of that. So the fact that he has to meticulously sit there, and I don't like the engineer, the mixing process to where they just cut them out because now it sounds choppy. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like leave the breath in there, but just select it and just take the volume down all the way to damn near
Fade it,
zero.
right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like because at the end of the last word before the breath and at the beginning of the first word after the breath, that shit still has to come together to kind of like to where it's not choppy. You
And
know what I'm
otherwise it'll
saying?
sound like a punch.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And I do not want every other verse sounding like a punch. So it
Yo, you
has
an
to be
MC,
clear.
boy. This dude is
On
a
my soul. Yeah, bro. Like I don't like that, man. And that's because I had to do mix my vocals like that.
yeah.
And I'm like, nah, I don't like that, bro. Like, I don't like that. So yeah, like Dialogue of Living Men too, bro. He did an immaculate job with that, just like the making sure that the levels was good, making sure I wasn't fighting against the vocal part of the sample, making sure the vocal part of the sample wasn't fighting against me for supremacy on who can hear who or who you hear who the most, and just those breaths, like going that is 3.5, basically 4 verses. That song is 4 verses. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like going through that whole song and fine tuning each of those breaths and making sure the word after and the word before it hit right. Immaculate, bro. I can't ask for more.
Yeah.
The one before that, what was, I know the first one was like best verse.
Best instrumental and best verse.
Okay, best instrumental. Let's go there. Clypto, that man is a dog, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta say the best instrumental. I think I'm gonna surprise some people with this answer, but I absolutely love the beat for Must Go On. I absolutely love that beat, bro.
That's fire.
Like I absolutely love that beat. Like I'm big on like soul samples anyway, but just that particular, and that's that particular hook, because I think in the original song the hook changes. I don't think they repeat the same hook. It's the same cadence, but I think the words are different. So the fact that he knew to use that one, because to me, if I was creating that beat and I sampled that beat, that's the one I'm using too. And that beat, I had to sit on that beat. I couldn't just go in and attack that beat. That one took some planning and some plotting and some strategizing. I couldn't just go in and write to that beat. Even though I'm partial to a lot of beats on there, from the first one, Bloodstained Suede II, the title track, to Whole Nother Level, love that. Hustlers and Survivors, Wrong Side of the Gun. If You Down, like I love all the beats, but I would have to say the best instrumental. I gotta say What's Going On, man. I love that beat. And for the best verse, bro, I might have to go with the very first verse on the project, verse 1 from the title track. Like, bro, I was on some shit. I don't like toot my own horn, but I was on some shit, bro. Like the way, and it's so funny, man. Shout out to the Joe Budden podcast, man. That dude Ish, man. Like he's so hilarious, man. That motherfucker was like, he told Parks, he's like, you know who Shiggy is? He's like, yeah. He's like, you know the 90s video he did? He's like, yeah. He's like, that's what my man said. And I wanted to get mad so bad, but I couldn't, bro, because I seen the Shiggy shit. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, I didn't even like realize it. But the first opening bars, the diabolical, highly methodical. I'm like, oh shit.
Your joint was out first,
shit,
though.
I'm like, oh shit, man. That's that lyrical, spiritual miracle shit. But one thing I will say, I never just like put a bunch of words in a verse to rhyme. So, like, if you break it down, it makes sense. The diabolical, highly methodical, erotic, the diabolical, highly methodical, erotic, some maniacal, flow, undeniable, hypnotic. Like, I'm breaking down what you get from me. You know what I'm saying? Diabolical. Like, I'm a monster with this shit. Like, I'm an evil genius with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm breaking it down. But to a motherfucker who ain't used to listening to that style of shit or don't like that style of shit, I could understand why they think it's just like a bunch of rhyming words with on some multi-syllabic shit, but it's not. Like, it's actually meaning in that shit. But that was hilarious. But yeah, favorite verse, dopest verse to me, like, it gotta be verse 1 from the open. Like, and that's what I mean about opening tracks.
Yes.
And like the very first verse, kicking you right in the teeth, bro. Kicking you right in the teeth. Yeah, to me, that's the hardest verse, the dopest verse.
All right, man. So I know we're short on time. I got a couple of more questions, but
yeah, let's do it, bro. Let's do it.
Top 5 MCs, with the exception of Nas, Jay, Big, and Pac.
That's my whole top 5 right there. So we finna do a brand new top 5. All right, I like that. Okay. So we definitely going Ice Cube. We definitely going Twista.
Let's go.
We definitely going. I gotta make this count. Ice Cube, Twista. Who else? Scarface. I gotta put M in there. I don't listen to a lot of this shit these days, but man, those first few years, those first 4 years, like, bro, like, this place is my house. I might as well arrange my face with white out, but y'all can't see me like Mason's eyebrow. Like, that motherfucker was going crazy. Definitely M. So I got Cube, I got Face, I got Twista, I got M. I make this last one count. And this is basically the dudes that's in my top 10. So this is basically my second 5.
Yeah. Got
yeah. So it only makes sense. I'm throwing Ghostface in there.
I like that. So we got Cube, Twista, Face, M, and Ghostface. Next question. Top 3 executive producers. Those who put together the album. They don't necessarily got to do all the beats, but when it comes to putting them albums together, who's the top 3? You can go 5 if you want, but
I'm gonna say RZA. I'm gonna say Steve Stout. I'm gonna say
that's a good one. Yeah, the commissioner.
Yeah, the commissioner. I know London Bridge is falling, but I gotta say Puff. That's 3. Who else? Who used to executive produce Busta shit? Was that Chris Lighty for Violator?
I
I
believe
know
so.
he managed them.
No, you meant I don't. That's a great question.
If Chris Lighty was a executive producer, I'm definitely throwing Chris Lighty in and oh, probably Irv Gotti. Didn't he executive produce his Dark and Hell is Hot and X shit?
That's his first joint. Yeah, I believe he did. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so yeah,
98.
I
Yeah,
want to say, but
I
I'm gonna
believe
say
he did.
not Murder Inc. Irv, Rough
I know
Rider
what you mean.
DMX Irv.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, I say Irv Gotti, the commissioner, Diddy, Chris Lighty, and who was my first one?
RZA.
RZA, yeah, because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he executive produced a lot of the Wu shit.
Top five Chi-Town albums everybody
Mm.
should know about.
Adrenaline Rush first and foremost, and we're
Twista.
gonna do it like this because actually Twista got two, and this is a album I don't think a lot of people is familiar with. So this is 1994. For some reason I don't know why this album didn't like hit the market like mainstream wise. Like it's almost like it came out and was forgot about, and it might be because the same year I believe Common's Resurrection came out in '94,
It did.
but this album is called Resurrection as well, and it's by Twista. And this is during a time to where he was going back and forth with Tretch from Naughty by Nature. And it's all slow flow. He got one song to where he did a double time, and it's called
Right.
Scat Like That. Everything else is slow flow. And that's what I mean when I say Twista got bars. I know you hit a that man has bars. Like he comes from really, really rapping. Like I'm putting Resurrection by Twista in for my number two. And if anybody out there is unfamiliar with Resurrection, I don't believe it's streaming. But
I
if
don't
you
think it is.
dig, if you dig hard enough, just look for Twister Resurrection and you will find it. It's definitely floating around the internet. So Google Twister Resurrection 1994 is there. And listen to that and holler at me direct. I'm telling you, one of them ones. And to like he followed that up with Adrenaline Rush. Like it's crazy. But Adrenaline Rush, Resurrection, B, Common, um, I'm gonna go Food and Liquor from Lupe. That could be interchanged with the Cool, depending on how I'm feeling. I love both of them albums, but we just gonna say Food and Liquor for now. So Adrenaline Rush, Resurrection, B, Food and Liquor, and I'm probably gonna say, damn, it gotta be a Kanye album, but I don't know which one, man.
Mm.
Damn. Cause I'm thinking of College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Those the four I'm thinking. It's gonna be one of them four.
So that's a mean list right there, man. Chi-Town, man.
Yeah,
Y'all
man.
put together them albums. That's what it's about. Put
Bro,
together them
yeah, man.
projects, man. I listen to
Yeah,
B to this day quite
absolutely.
often, man. Like no skips. Let it play, let it run, man.
Absolutely.
So if you could speak to the audience out there, what will be something that you want them to take away from your latest project, Bloodstained Suede II?
That I'm more than a rapper. I'm an artist. I'm an MC first and foremost, but I'm an artist. That and also that underground artists don't have to sound like Griselda. I'm a self-proclaimed underground artist. I'm not looking to sign a record deal or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm grassroots, build from the ground up because I need control. I don't need nobody else hand in my pot while I'm cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I have a grasp on how to create music. And I'm not saying I'm not willing to collaborate, but I gotta respect it. I can't have a suit telling me what type of songs I need to make. Um, I need the listener to walk away with the notion that I'm a complete artist. You know what I'm saying? I take my craft very seriously. Um, I'm never here because if you're gonna spend money with me, I appreciate that more than I ain't gonna say I appreciate that more than you listening, but I appreciate that just as much as you listening. But it hit different when you're willing to spend your money because we all out here struggling in one way or another. You know what I'm saying? It's tight somewhere for somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, and I'm never gonna play with your ear just to put out something and get a couple bucks from you. Like I would never do that. Like I'm always gonna put my best foot forward and that I'm very intentional about what it is that I give y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like just know that I'm here when a listener listen to me, Overall, I want you to know that I'm here to infiltrate your top five, your greatest MCs ever. That's the list I want to be put on. I'm here to infiltrate your top five. That's what I need the listener to know.
That's fire, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I am God. Make sure you go to all streaming sites. Bloodstained Suede II. Click on that. When you're done, go down the rest of the discography. Go to Bandcamp, cop up, get some vinyl CDs. He got physical copies
Absolutely.
available too. Share your
Absolutely.
social with the people. Or your social
So social media, I've been seeing that a lot of people don't really know the social media lately. So I'm most active on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Twitter and Instagram. Both of those platforms, I am at God MC. That's GAWDEMCEE. Again, Instagram and Twitter, God MC, GAWDEMCEE. YouTube, I'm building up the YouTube page, coming with more content. That's just I Am God. So if you just youtube.com/I Am God should take you right to the page. I'm not really too much on Facebook. I do, but I don't. Everything you seeing on Facebook, you will see on Twitter and Instagram. So yeah, but yeah, the band camp is no mediocre, but take the O's out and replace them with X's. So it's NXMEDIXCRE.bandcamp.com. And again, like the homie put it, you know what I'm saying? We got CDs, we got vinyl, you know what I'm saying? We got hoodies, we got sweatshirts, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to support I Am God and a no mediocre brand financially, monetarily, that's how you do so. Ain't no cash apps or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I want to give you something in return for, you know what I'm saying, you supporting me. So go to the band camp, you know what I'm saying, and grab something, cop something. I appreciate it. We got the vinyl coming for Bloodstained Suede II. Is on pre-order right now. The vinyl should be here by the end of April. You know what I'm saying? So the very latest, the end of April, the vinyl will start shipping. So if you waiting on any orders that include vinyl, you know what I'm saying, I got you. Just give me a little bit more time. In about a month's time, you know what I'm saying, they should be shipping out. But yeah, man, we here. No mediocre. I am God. I am getting ahead without devolving. Chicago never forgot how to rap. Know that.
Yes, sir. My God, man. I appreciate you, man. Real rap, man. Real
Yes, sir.
rap.
I appreciate
Go,
you having me, bro.
man. Thanks for showing up, man. Go stream that album, Bloodstained Suede 2, man. Real rap.
Yes, sir.